Hey everybody, welcome back to 3D Cartoon Review. Today we dive into Land 2, episode 132, where winter writes its name on the world, a royal token of ice, 3 mischievous bears, a city that sleeps under a storm, and a legend who walks like night. Pull your cloak tight, warm your hands, this one crackles. Snow held its breath when Shuedi descended moonlit, sovereign, a hush in human shape. Her gaze found Huo Yuhao and the battered Bing Xiangwang, whose chest rose like a cracked bell trying to remember music. A cold blue sigil blossomed in her palm. "This is the Snow Empress Order," she said quietly. "Carry it," and the extreme north answers. The flake-shaped token landed in Yuhao's hand like a promise with weight. It pulsed once winter's heartbeat, granting refuge, allies, and the right to ask for the impossible without apology. Across the camp, the Titan Snow Demon King bowed deep enough to tilt the wind. "Friend to Shuedi and Bingdi is friend to the extreme north," his voice rumbled. "Send the order, and we will come with all our strength." Before leaving, Shuedi turned to the towering Atai, pride high as a mountain ridge. A thread of blue light stitched quietly into him, years sewed back onto life's sleeve. He knelt and touched his head to the ground 3 times, kingly humility offered to sovereign winter. Even mountains bend when snow writes with mercy. At a small gesture, the Ice Bear King shrugged his fur and became an enormous, round human part barrel, part thunderhead, then waddled after Elder Xuan, ridiculous and terrifying in the same breath. Yuhao's path bent toward the sunset forest. Bei had trusted him with ugly responsibilities. Yuhao paid that trust with punctual feet and a steady pulse. The Icefire Yin Yang Well greeted them like a complaint, herb terraces torn, petals plastered to rock, rare stems snapped like quills. Famine had borrowed claws. A jittery herb sprite flitted up, near tears. The dark golden terror claws bears Damao and Air Mao raided us, 1,000-year roots gone like snacks. Before scolding found its target, catastrophe belly flopped. The freshly healed Ice Bear King cannonballed into the extreme cold spring. Steam howled. Stones considered changing addresses. The spring hiccuped like a dragon with the giggles. And yet beasts recognize honest joy. In minutes, Da Mao, Air Mao, and the Bear King were inseparable, sworn to mischief, appetite, and only occasional obedience. Yuhao called. 3 bears pretended to be mountains. When those mountains sniffed for more herbs, the immortal plants panicked and offered tribute essences, and elixirs willingly surrendered to avoid extinction. Yuhao accepted with a grave nod and a hidden smile, then stored all 3 bears inside his undead demi-plane, where their snoring became gentle thunder and their fur became the local geography. With harvest secure, he turned toward Heaven Dou City, now sleeping under the Sun Moon Empire. In the occupied capital, hunger marched better than soldiers. Yuhao slipped past patrols, emptied a granary to feed his Ursine debts, and left behind a promise he intended to repay. He slid beneath the Imperial Garden Lake, breath thin as a silver wire, and traced a Bing Bao array on the lakebed, a coiled ice explosion, waiting like a shark below calm water. When the vault sealed, he opened spiritual detection, sweeping the palace with a lighthouse of quiet thought. He shook the net on purpose. He wanted them to come. 2 shadows bit. A Titled Douluo elder and a Soul Douluo spirit type evil soul master crossed the garden like knives. Yuhao ran exactly where he needed them. When their silhouettes cut above the lake, he touched the hidden trigger. The night turned inside out. Stars learned about thunder. Ice explosion roared. Water became shrapnel. Shock waves flung both pursuers skyward. Layered shields bloomed around the elder. The Soul Douluo fell out of discipline and into fear. Survival canceled loyalty. The elder turned to light and fled, abandoning his comrade to the arithmetic of consequences. Yuhao answered with a sum that ends in silence. He summoned the golden dragon spear, sheathed it in simulation, and smoothed its edges until moonlight lost track of it. A faint gold line winked and passed through a skull like a thought-cutting cloth. The body began to wither. The spear sang once, drinking life force, then slipped back into Yuhao's palm, like a secret that knew to shut up. Silence fell. The elder, glancing back, saw only a desiccated corpse and no villain to chase. Yuhao's breath came even. His mind counted exits, debts, and the hungry rhythm of 3 sleeping bears. Elsewhere, Nan Qiu returned to Tangsect with rare materials and news that smelled pleasantly of hope. Plans unfurled like banners. Bei decided they would find Yuhao because families chase storms together. And from nowhere, Tang Wutong stepped in light-footed, clear-eyed, requesting to join with the steadiness that makes no feel both rude and wrong. 2 days later, the sky over Heaven Dou changed its mind. 5,000 meters up, the Ice Bear King roared until wind remembered winter and spun a Boreal Maelstrom the size of a royal temper. Snow hammered roofs, gusts knifed streets. Temperatures fell toward numbers that metal respects. The Sun-Moon inner court launched alarms that crystallized before finishing the first syllable. The phenomenon yanked Jing Hongchen and Sleepyshade Douluo into the sky to investigate, leaving a perfect opening the size of Yuhao's ambition. Beneath the storm, he knifed through a nest of evil soul masters, cut one down, and slipped like rumor through corridors until a soul sage skull martial soul drove him past the city walls. Out where law thins, the soul sage unfolded his strongest art, a colossal skull that chewed light, ground courage, and promised to devour the soul. Yuhao spun on his heel, eyes cold enough to write frost on air. The mind's hammer fell. Soul shock blink soul, detonation mental chaos, discipline disintegrated like sugar in boiling thought. In that clean, awful silence, the empire inside him roared. Ice Emperor's wrath speared the night beryl green and absolute. The hunter froze perfect crystal, last choice preserved forever. Yuhao harvested the statue into a soul tool evidence, warning, resource then turned cityward, thinking of alarms, exits, and 3 appetites the size of weather systems. He didn't take a second step. The world slipped gears. Chaos vanished. Snowflakes hung midair like pearls on invisible thread. Even the cold paused to listen. Footsteps came measured, patient, the walk of someone who never asks permission to exist. A figure stepped out of shadow, and the shadow welcomed him like an heir. "Unexpected?" said an old voice, dry as cedar. "If Ji Shui hadn't told me, I would question growth this fast." Yuhao knew before the title finished, introducing itself, Dragon God Douluo, Long Xiaoyao, bearer of the dark holy dragon, a man whose presence made rules, remember their parents. Between motionless snowflakes, Yuhao bowed. One bows to mountains before attempting passage. His heartbeat steadied, his thoughts sharpened, his exits mapped themselves, then mapped again. Long Xiaoyao's eyes held neither cruelty nor mercy, only appraisal, a craftsman's patience with fine steel. "Walk with me," he said, as if the ice itself had made the request. "Let us see what you carry, and whether it chooses to carry you back." The Snow Empress Order lay cool against Yuhao's palm. In his pocket world, 3 bears slumbered like furry thunderclouds. He could run and die, kneel in regret, or speak and build his next breath into a doorway large enough to use twice. He chose words first. Speech, done right, bears more weight than armor, especially when the listener can split mountains with a hand that looks suspiciously like a thought about gravity. Wind remembered its job. Time exhaled. High above, the Boreal Maelstrom thinned into tatters of polite weather, pretending blizzards don't happen in properly managed cities. Within those tatters, a white path unrolled attentive, quiet. Jing Hongchen prowled the sky, frowning at the storm's vanishing teeth. On the ground, evil soul masters hugged their secrets like hot coals. In a different corridor of cold air, Tang Wutong scanned the horizon. Her chest answered a direction that ignored maps. Bei trusted that answer more than any road. Beneath the palace, the lake tried to forget it had learned the word explosion. The golden dragon spear slept like lightning with manners. Snow resumed its fall, softer now, as if eavesdropping. Long Xiaoyao glanced from the city to the boy walking beside him. "Clever traps," he said. "Measured cruelty. Mercy postponed. You are a thread that might weave a tapestry or knot it." He paused. "Who taught you to be patient under thunder?" Yuhao's reply was simple. Teachers, debts, and a long road that bruised him into usefulness without putting out his light. The elder listened until listening felt like a cliff where the echo answers only truth. Then he turned. The night followed. "Come," he said, not command, not plea, only gravity offered as hospitality. Snowflakes chose a direction. Yuhao matched his stride, testing ice that did not break beneath purpose. Behind them, Heaven Dou City creaked in its chains, dreaming of paperwork and missing grain. Ahead, the dark breathed like a secret deciding whom to love first. In Yuhao's mind, maps rearranged, plans subdivided. Wu Tong's face arrived like a lantern one cannot entrust to anyone else. Tang's sect moved toward him across distance and decision. Above, the stars practiced their brittle silence, watching a boy, a dragon, and a knight negotiate the next page without prophecy, only will. For now, not dying counted as victory. Some nights, that's the cleverest triumph. The story cooled rather than closed, like metal waiting the hammer. Yuhao faced forward, the path narrowed, the test began. Winter lifted its face to meet him. If the winter wind and shadowed legend gripped you, smash that. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so the next strike finds you first. In the following chapter, Long Xiaoyao tests steel with silence and blades. Huo Yuhao learns what price a storm charges, and somewhere in a pocket night, 3 bears dream of medicinal snacks and heroics. See you in the snow.